What's up, everybody? You're listening to Let's Get Into It. As always, you have your co-host, me, Elle. And y'all know I can't do this without my best friend.
Chris, what's up, y'all?
Y'all, I'm just gonna let y'all know now, just for some context, it is currently Wednesday, January 12th, and this episode will be dropping tomorrow, Thursday, January 13th. We usually record on Mondays, but y'all, I stepped foot into a office building for the first time in over a year this past week in a new position that is kind of overwhelming right now. But I promised y'all that we were not gonna have any breaks in episodes this year. So we standing on that. Monday came, I was tired as fuck, and I just could not record. So I was like, Chris, can we record tomorrow? What happened on tomorrow, aka yesterday, Chris?
Well, yesterday was not a good day for me overall. I mean, I turned it around at the end, but I was asleep, and then my sister called me at 6 o'clock in the morning. As y'all know, I'm in Central Time Zone, and she's in Eastern. Some of y'all may not know that, but that hour time difference, I would have been okay with 7 o'clock, but 6 o'clock, I was like, girl, do you not know? Do you not remember it's 6 o'clock over here? So it was a little bit too early for me. Everyone knows who knows me that I am not a morning person. So that kind of changed my day. I've been doing this new plan where I get up at like 7:30, even though it's an hour difference. Y'all know it's the difference between 6 hours of sleep and 7 hours of sleep. So I didn't start my day off the way that I anticipated. So by the time it was time for us to record that night, for one, Elle, you were still in the office. And then I was like, yeah, today not the day either. It's just not happening. Honestly, that was me. So we had our days this week, but
You
um,
didn't have to include me in your day, bitch. You could have just, I didn't include you in my day.
um, the other recordings you did, you just decided not to do it in this one.
You
Um,
had to let them know we had to have more than one take.
y'all, we typically don't have to have more than one tape. Let's be clear. But today we are highly dedicated, as Elle would say.
We are both highly dedicated, guys.
Highly. Okay. So we are making sure we give you guys the best content that we can possibly give. So if that take more than what we wanted to do, that's completely fine. But honestly, Elle, the only reason why I added you into that is because it's true. When I saw you were still there, I was like, okay, yeah, no, we don't need to do this tonight. Because you did look overwhelmed and you just said that. And I was already on a different level, like my day was already messed up, so I was like, nah.
Okay, y'all. Well, I'm gonna throw in what Crystal did on Monday that made us not record. So I had planned on recording on Monday, even though I was tired, and it's almost like I'm snitching on you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, I didn't put it like shots to you. I was just saying like we both were not
Absolutely.
in a good area, so I was like, what's the point?
On Monday, Crystal actually was ready to record, but when I called her, yeah, this bitch was on a date, dressed up, her and Bree out, looking good, eating dinner, and I'm like, oh, this is my excuse right here. So I was like, okay, Chris, so it looks like we can't record tonight, maybe a different day. And this bitch was like, oh no, we're about to finish up. I can record when I get home. At that point, I just had to come clean. I couldn't do it.
I could tell the way you were looking. I was like, that's why I wanted to make sure. I was like, nah. I was even telling her, I was like, I gotta record tonight so we can eat and then whatever. I was thinking it. I did my routine, y'all, so I was productive. But it would just didn't happen. Yesterday, that was on me, and I was just like, no, it wasn't happening. But nevertheless, we are here to once again, like I said, give y'all great content. So yeah, if you're watching, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
All right, girl, let's get into it. So, Crystal, this week, guys, she sent me over a topic. I immediately saw it and knew that I wanted that to be what we discussed this week. So as you can tell by the title of this episode, which is Hood Feminism, I got the email from Chris and I was intrigued. So, Crystal, give us a little background on why you chose this topic, and I would be more than happy to get into what this topic means to me.
Perfect. So okay, I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. This topic came from the title of a book that I haven't even read yet. So I can't even like give y'all insight on the book. Me and my friends were in a bookstore and we were browsing for books, and the title of the book just stuck out to me. The price of the book didn't at the bookstore. So that's the reason why it remained there. However, what hood feminism to me means just by first glance is I feel like it's just a like reincarnated phrase for womanism. This is like a different version of, not even a different version, just more of a newer version, a new generational version of the word womanism. Um, to me, I feel like hood feminism just shows that I feel like when people think of feminism, especially men, it's this connotation of being like a certain way, like you're problematic, you feel like you have to protest everything, or you're overly zealous of the topic in a certain way, like in a like annoying ass way, to be real. Like when you hear people say, "Oh, you a feminist," da, 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 it's a certain connotation that comes with that, or you have to look a certain way and be a certain way. However, that's just not true. It's not true as far as womanism. And Elle is going to get into that a little bit more about the definition, but just wanted to just like have an episode talking about what it means to be a womanist in this generation. And that could mean a lot of things because, like I just said, there's no cookie cutter way of being a womanist.
Beautifully stated, Crystal. I also haven't read the book as of yet. But as y'all know, hopefully y'all are reading our current book right now. Y'all got a few more weeks before we discuss. But if hood feminism is something that you guys are interested in reading together as a group with the Let's Get Into It book club, please let us know in the comments. Feel free to DM us, even if that's not the title that you want us to get into next. Feel free. As long as y'all are participating with the book club, we are going to continue to do it. So just let us know. But this is definitely a book that I do want to read with you guys at some point this year, even if it's not the next one. But let me get into womanism real quick. I was introduced to womanism on the campus of UNC Greensboro, and my life was forever changed. So, shout out to the Womanist Society of UNCG. Um, the group was founded by some amazing people while I was on campus, and I am blessed to have found that group, and I'm blessed to serve that group in the ways that I did. Um, I was co-president of the organization for a while. So shout out to y'all. If y'all listening, y'all know I love y'all. But womanism is a phrase that was coined by Alice Walker. If you know Alice Walker, you know her most well-known piece, of course, is The Color Purple. So my Ansonians, y'all better know this name because y'all know what the color purple means to us. But when discussing womanism, I think that it's very like I think Alice Walker described it best when she was quoted saying, "Womanism is to feminism as purple is to lavender." So if you know those two colors, purple is usually the color that comes to mind. Is that general color, but lavender is a form of purple. So with that being said, feminism to me is a form of womanism because womanism does embody so much more than feminism. Feminism has failed Black women and women of color for a very long time. First and second wave feminism, even the feminism of today, a lot of the Me Too movement. Y'all, white women have a way of, not only white women, y'all already know where I'm going with this. The whites have a way of colonizing everything that they come into contact with. and social thoughts and theories are no exception.
Mhm.
Feminism, in my opinion, only focuses on middle class to wealthy white women, whereas womanism focuses on all people. Alice Walker again coined the phrase womanism, but Kimberly Crenshaw, she gave us one of the most important terms of womanism, and that is intersectionality.
Mhm.
And womanism found a way to look at feminism at the lens of intersection, not only of race, but of class and gender as well. You know,
The list goes on.
literally, people always say, like, you're a man, you can't be a feminist. I want men to be wominists. Like, you have
Mhm.
to be able to, like, I'm not even gonna say empathize, but I guess that's the only word that I can think of right now. Black women specifically have done so much for this country, and we are literally still treated as doormats. Um,
I'm so glad. It's so crazy that you said that because I'm not going to put him out there because that's my friend. But we were having a very insightful conversation with one of my male friends recently. Um, and as in me and my Dallas friends, because I know you're like, who the hell are you talking about?
yeah, I was like,
Um,
got no friends.
but we had a conversation and he didn't understand the difference of privilege between black women and black men in some aspects. And it's just crazy how it's 2022 and we don't have that understanding, especially within our community. And I'm not necessarily just like frustrated with him. Like I was glad that he was willing to talk about it and because that's something honestly as a man you have to be vulnerable to be like, I want to understand what you're talking about. I don't know. And of course, I said that's the privilege in itself that you don't have to know about these struggles. But I'm glad that we talked about it, and he got a better understanding of us talking about it afterwards. But it's like he was saying, I feel like it's very important for men to take the time out and not just ask your friends or just ask your family members, but do your research because you have a black mother, you may have a black sister, and you may have a black daughter. So you need to understand how these experiences differ for us because your perspective is vastly different from ours. So yeah, it's very important for everybody. Even as a black woman, there are some privileges that I don't experience. And we can get deeper into all of that. Either with someone who I don't know like the new term for, I don't want to like get get in trouble, but I'm an abled person. So there are some things I don't think about because I have, function of my limbs or whatever that we call and all my areas are working. Okay. Um, so there are some privileges that I just don't understand when it comes to that. And of course, like I said, that's just an example. There are so many. But as black women, oh, also, even if I want to go like as a black woman, I'm a black straight woman, a black cis woman. So there are privileges that I experience that people who identify as, trans women or any other identification other than being a straight cis woman here in America is a different experience, vastly different from what I experienced. I know I just took it there, but it just like sparked the conversation when you said everybody should be an ally. So yeah.
You definitely took it there, but everything you said was so spot on. I couldn't agree more, and I think that that was the appeal of womanism to me. Like, I took different women and gender studies classes before, and I'm in African American African diaspora studies. Like that is my degree. That's what I have my degree in. So I've been in rooms where I'm hearing people discuss topics that are very important to me. However, I'm not included in those discussions because I'm a black woman. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, I I also identify as a cis black woman, and those are just some of my identifiers. However, for womanism for me, um, that like I said, that's literally what stood out about womanism to me is the fact that it takes into account the experiences of all different types of black women, and humans in general. So like the different communities that you were identifying, definitely those who are I don't know the most PC term because it changes so often, but people with different physical handicaps, people with mental illnesses, people that are queer, like all of those things were taken into account. And for me, that was the big appeal of womanism, just because I don't feel like even in those women and gender studies classes that focused heavily on some bullshit as feminism, in my opinion, they didn't take into account the struggles of black women, like poor black women, rich black, you know what I mean? It's like they womanism really focuses heavily on how we're so diverse yet the same.
Yes. Also, I just realized that I was saying sis wrong because I'm high, y'all. So y'all just disregard how I said it in the beginning. But either way, I definitely agree. And something else that I want to add to it is because I have a minor in women's and gender studies, and it's crazy because even in some of those classes, we focused on the just the history of these issues, these women issues, although we're still facing issues as of 2022. So everyone, especially, I wouldn't say everyone, but I know a lot of people, a majority of men, more than likely, thinks that our women problems. Oh no, y'all equal now. Y'all got the jobs. Y'all got the most degrees. Y'all own the most businesses. And I'm just like, you are clueless as to what we have to deal with.
They're honestly not clueless. I feel like a lot of times niggas just like being obtuse.
That's true too.
You're
Very
fucking
true.
ignoring the struggle,
That's
and
true.
it sucks. It just sucks that black women are constantly, like, our struggles are constantly trivialized by literally
Everybody.
every other group of people. Trivializes the struggles that we as black women face every day, from the little as microaggressions
Mm.
in corporate America to blatant racism on a political level. So it's just crazy.
It's very crazy. And, just speaking of some of those examples, I definitely wanted to get into like what's going on today. So, as we mentioned, today is Wednesday, January 12th, and we just saw some news on social media in regards to Trey Songz, an NBA player, I believe, a WNBA player, came out that she was raped by him. Um, Elle, what are your thoughts right now?
I that I've been on the fuck Trey Songz way for a few years now. Um,
Absolutely.
it initially started for me when Kiki Palmer told us about how big of a creep he was, and I just knew at that moment that he was up to no good. Um,
Absolutely.
I definitely send my heart and prayers out to Dylan as she's dealing with the aftermath of that situation. Um,
Yeah.
and it's just really fucked up to see people like really trying to discredit a woman when this man has had several accusations within the past. I think Kiki Palmer like made her statement maybe like 2017, 2018 back,
Hmm.
and he's had several other accusers come forward since then.
Hmm.
But for people to say that, oh, he's rich and famous, he doesn't have to, right? No, that's just fucked up.
Oh my
That's
God. When,
bullshit.
when I tell you I've heard that so much ever since Bill Cosby, the allegations with him, the allegations with R. Kelly, and now Trey Songz. And it's even worse than Trey Songz. I'm like, man, that man, that nigga ain't ugly. He can get anybody. All of that. I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? This is what I'm talking about. This is what we have to go through. These are the men that we no one love and still don't believe us as women. Like, why not? Even with the Tory Lanez and Meg
Girl, I
situation,
knew you was about to say it, and don't make me get into it.
it's just always a case of women. I feel like we're the only group of people that it's like, oh, innocent until proven guilty. Like, you won't even, everybody else, not even the courts, in the eyes of the people, they don't give a fuck about what we say. Oh no, you need to prove it. Not as if the trauma itself wasn't enough to talk about. And now you want me to sit here and prove this to you when I went through this and I have to continue reliving it because you want me to prove it to you. Fuck you. That's what
Girl,
I would say if
and
I was
that
a celebrity. I'm just saying.
raps, y'all, she's not lying. She would just hit anybody with a fuck you.
I
But
would.
it's like it's even worse on black and brown women, especially in situations
Yes.
like, because we're like, I'm gonna get into it, y'all, but we're perceived as hypersexual. Oh,
Mhm.
who wouldn't want to like have sex with that? Like, y'all, do it's 2022. We need to move past those type of conversations, and
Yes.
unfortunately, those conversations are still being had. But again, for black and brown women, even like and again, another reason why womanism is so important to me, I'm sure y'all have seen like the social experiments before, where it's a black or brown woman arguing with a white woman, and strangers literally come to the defense of that white woman without having any prior knowledge of the situation,
Absolutely.
because black and brown women, black women specifically, are seen as the aggressor in these type of situations. So it's just really disheartening that these are still um thoughts of the, like, I'm not going to say the general public, because I know that there, hopefully nobody listening to this show right now thinks like that, but
I feel like it's impossible because the shit that we talk about, and I feel like I know we had an episode just talking about a few episodes last season, talking about how passionate we are about these topics. Like, we are black women and we stand with black women all day, every day.
to quote
So
Issa Rae and Wale, sue me,
I'm rooting for everybody that's black,
period, sue
okay?
me.
Especially black women, because I know what it is. And that's why I was kind of alluding to earlier about certain privileges. I know that I have a certain privilege also being the lighter. Let's talk about it. Colorism still exists, unfortunately, in 2022. So I just can't imagine how some people deal with the treatment of other people when I already deal with a certain level of it. So I'm here. I'm fighting for everybody. Okay, black. Everybody's black.
It's just fucked up. Like you said, we dealing with racism, colorism.
Colorism.
Girl, texturism is a big one right now.
Texturism, that is a good one.
God damn. What is this?
Like, my back hurt from carrying all this. Shout out to C.
Girl, between this ass, these titties, and this racism,
Oh
I
shit.
broke.
Girl, that's a good one. But for real, it's really exhausting. It's very fitting for the book that we're reading right now, because even as a woman in a, in a good, we're not in a bad place right now. Honestly, we're in a good place. We have a job, we have a house. Even in that, it's stressful. Okay. Like Elle said, how many of us, like, we can raise our hands over here. Y'all comment. How many of y'all dealt with microaggressions at work? And you just play it off or ignore it or whatever. Like, you don't take action because you're like, I'm used to this. Like, it's the white person or another minority person too. Like, we deal with so much stuff that at this point it feels natural. So like it's like second nature. It's terrible.
Absolutely. I know last season I definitely talked about some microaggressions that I was facing
Mhm.
in a workplace. I don't work there anymore, so fuck that bitch that always used to ask me about my locks and my head wraps. If you're listening, fuck you. But yeah, it's just crazy, like the things that we have to deal with even at work. Like, we have to be so hyper conscious of the
Yeah.
things we're saying and doing, and it's really fucked up that some people have to work like that. I thank God now that that's not my work environment. And I don't foresee that becoming my work environment ever again, like in my the trajectory that I see my career going. So if you if you
Absolutely.
do that now and you need somebody to just vent to, y'all, like I say it every episode, my DM's open to most of y'all.
Right. Don't get the wrong idea now. Um, no, but I mean, I dealt with not even just like microaggressions, but I work for a really great company right now. But there's just some people that are like, they don't have to think about how it is or what it feels like to be a person of color. So some of the things that they do, for instance, I'm gonna give y'all an example. We were doing a
Mhm.
icebreaker. We had an icebreaker, right? Cool. Like I love my team. I've never had any issues with anyone. The question was, would you choose to go back 100 years in time or go forward 100 years? Yeah. How tone deaf can you be? It's like four black people on our team, and we have a smaller team, and then we have like age. We have a great like diverse group. And what honestly makes it worse for me is her reaction to what I said. So of course, me being me, everybody was giving their answers, and I was just like, I cannot wait to say this. I cannot wait. I was like, well, as a black woman, I would never want to go back 100 years. Hell, I don't want to be here now. And when I tell you I say that, I said it. I did. I'm not even gonna lie. I
Baby,
said it.
150, the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. And everybody was like, oh, we didn't think of, and then like the chat was blowing up. The black people was like, oh shit, Chris, right? Like, why we like I didn't think about that. And I'm like, nah, you just didn't want to say it. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna always say it because I work within HR, so try to fire me, bitch. Anyways,
Riot?
no. So aside from that, like I said, her reaction is the one that is the thing that really got me because then she was like, "Oh my parents was Cuban, and like I understand, like y'all taking it this different direction. I wasn't trying to say it like that." I'm like, "How are you trying to discount my experience and my family?" Bitch, my people was segregated. My people from the South, the dirty South. It's still bad out here.
No, but really, bitch.
It's still bad. So I wouldn't want to be, like you said, 50 years, 40 years, hell, 30 years. When I tell you, even today, it's hard to be black. Why would you ask me that? And yeah, so it's that they want to be ignorant or they choosing to be ignorant, and some people don't know, but I feel like she could have just went to an apology and just kept it at that instead of being try to be relatable and
She
say,
probably
oh, X,
get
Y, and Z. But you are definitely white passing. That
wait.
woman does not look like nothing else but white.
Is this the same girl that has a black husband?
No,
Okay.
I actually don't know how her husband looked. Actually, the funny thing about it is she was in the meeting, and that's a department lead.
Oh.
Yeah, the department lead was there when I said it. And I think that's why she tried to walk it back. But I'm like, girl, no, what you're not gonna do is try to be in a position of leadership and don't understand the team. That doesn't work that way. And me, the type of person that I am, I'm always gonna speak up.
Period. But yeah, y'all. So that's just a little bit of like what we face as black women in the workplace. A very small fraction of the micro aggressions, and just flat out bullshit. And
I didn't expect you to say it. Just flat out bullshit. Well said. It is some bullshit, ill. No lie.
but Chris, did you have any questions? Any talking points that you wanted to hit on? Because I have a few different things that I can say, and I can keep getting into it. One thing that I did just want to hit on very briefly. I'm not sure if you guys have watched. I know a lot of people don't want to watch this because they don't feel like it's necessary. But there is a mini series that's going on right now, and it is called Women of the Movement, and it's about the
Mm.
mother of Emmett Till.
Um,
I'm not gonna give y'all a history lesson because it's 2022,
if
and
you
you
don't know that, mm,
but the miniseries, I'm again, y'all know my educational background. I like history, so I started watching it, and what the acting is really good. But it's a few things about it that I don't like. So I'm gonna use my platform now to talk about it.
mm,
Boom. So again, if you should be familiar with Emmett's story. May his soul rest in peace eternally. And we also know now, as well, and they knew it then, that Emmett was lynched over a lie.
mhm,
I feel like this miniseries is not doing a good job at holding the white woman who told this lie accountable for her actions. The old white bitch is still alive. I hope she dies a slow and painful death. Lord,
mm,
I know it's
mm,
not right.
mm.
Please forgive me. You know my heart and you know my soul, Jesus. But they on the miniseries, they were just trying to make it seem like she, tried her best to not have any action taken towards this child, and I just don't agree with it. So
Because why would you lie if you
I
didn't want
there's
anything to
other
come
things that
to
I
you?
don't like about the miniseries because me personally I thought that we debunked that whole whistle thing a long time ago, but they included a wolf whistle to the woman as well. It wasn't clear on who whistled at the woman in the series. However, it was a large group of black men and young men and boys in the area, and that they did that whistle. So it's like the fact that they did that on TV, it's just I don't appreciate it. I'm gonna continue to watch so that I can continue to update y'all with the things that I hate about it. But I am glad that his mom is getting um portrayed in the way that she is. I think that the actress that is playing his mom is doing a wonderful job. Um, the writers and like the writers just got me a little fucked up right now.
That
Again,
is so sad
that
to hear.
died a horrible death. There's actually a petition going around right now too because she can apparently still be tried and held accountable for that lie. If y'all would like, I could put a link to that petition on our Instagram. So if you're interested, you can sign it because, like I said, the old bitch is alive.
I don't think is what if they would like. I think we should just do it. I definitely feel like that's something that we stand by, obviously. So if y'all want to, y'all can. But either way, we're gonna post it once we post this episode because that's important to at least bring awareness to it. That's very disappointing that they are not portraying it in the way that I would have liked. I honestly haven't watched it yet just because like I don't want to be sad and it's just gonna make me sad. Like it is really gonna make me sad that those types of movies just strike a chord obviously for a lot of us. So I'll take my time and watching it. I probably will at some point. But just segueing into a few points that we wanted to talk about. As mentioned earlier, I feel like people make it seem like women's rights is definitely in the past, especially for Black women, which is crazy to me because in addition to the microaggressions and aggressions and in L words bullshit that occurs in the workplace, there are still laws that are being passed that affect women and they don't want to say it, but of course, minority women is targeted by this. Okay, our communities are always targeted by these laws, and this is why they do it for regulation purposes. But for those of you who do not know, in Texas, which is the state that I live in, it's crazy that um, there is a law that is passed that abortion is banned after 5 weeks and 6 days of pregnancy. Abortion is banned,
I'm
y'all.
if you're watching, I know you saw my jaw drop. Like that was my first time hearing this information. Of course not. But the fact that actually it exists is, I'm sorry guys, complete and utter bullshit.
Bullshit.
You realize 5 weeks pregnant, I mean, y'all, you if you're 5 weeks pregnant, that means you literally just missed your period.
Literally. Literally.
Literally just missed your period.
The fact that they regulate our bodies like this is so crazy. Like,
Not
who
only
told
the
you?
our bodies. Okay, so all the if you're forcing people to have these kids, they not people aren't in a position to have kids a lot of times.
Absolutely.
Honestly, it don't matter what position somebody's in. If they don't want to do that to their bodies, guess who the fuck body it is?
Mine. That's what I'm saying. Why are you? Who told you that you can't tell me what to do with my body?
But bitch, these same lawmakers that are passing these abortion laws and abortion bans, and I want y'all to be very you need to really look into your state laws because honestly, whenever you hear anything about abortion, it does not stop and end at abortion. Reproductive rights include so many different things that affect all of us. So
Absolutely.
if you use birth control, if you see an abortion law, something probably just changed with your birth control as well. You just need to be very intentional and look into these things because you may not feel like they affect you, but them motherfuckers so sneaky, y'all.
Yes. It's usually something hidden behind the law that everyone knows about. Like, it was something, I'm not sure if it's still going on because, yet again, a privilege that I have health insurance. But I know at this point in time, Planned Parenthood was shut down for an amount of time, or like some services weren't allowed. And it's just like, are you serious? Are you? I think it was actually like getting tested. For some reason, like I just started my job, my health insurance, I was waiting on a card or something. It was something. So I was like, well, I can go to like the health department or Planned Parenthood or something. They weren't taking nobody because of a certain restriction that lawmakers put on Texas. And I don't really remember what it was because, like I said, I honestly didn't have to go, but I just did. And it's just sad because a lot of women depend on that. They depend on these public services in
Absolutely.
order to help them with whatever they need with their health. And it's sad that men are the ones that are telling us what we should and should not do in 2022. And that literally just happened last year. Like, you would think we were back in 1919, even though Black women didn't get it. Anyway,
It's just crazy. And
crazy.
people they love that Planned Parenthood. They if they give kids abortion, shut the fuck up. People giving out birth control, they giving out STD, STI screenings, mammogram, shit that you would be paying thousands of dollars for in the hospital. They, y'all, I have not had to say this all season yet, but I'm gonna say it today. They can suck my dick.
Are you sure you haven't said that?
Positive.
Okay, okay. Um, no, for real. Like, this is just, and I was just gonna say for Texas to have that law or regulation, but also we're open carry state. It's just like y'all don't fucking make sense. Y'all
And
fucking crazy.
I also know that like it goes for like the racism and sexism and misogyny, like it extends
Mhm.
way past reproductive rights. Like
Yes,
states and cities are still having to pass laws now that are making it legal for black women to wear our natural hair, like in the workplace,
crazy.
in public. You telling me that employers up until 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, they could legally fire a bitch because they did not like my locks. They don't like my braids. They don't like my afro. Y'all. Bullshit.
Bullshit. So for those of you, which like I said, I don't think you're listening to us or watching us, but do your research. There is a lot of things that we are still currently fighting as women. In addition to that, we still make 82 cents for every $1 a man makes. Like, just add that up. People just say, "Oh, that's not bad." Like, what? Why? What is the difference? Like, and most of the time, not even most, I feel like any woman you talk to, especially a black woman, we putting in twice as much work as our counterpart who's in the exact same position, just because we can't fuck up, okay? We can't fuck up. But Tom, Dick, and Harry could come in here and act like they in a fraternity house, the bros and shit, and don't put as much effort as they should for their role, and it doesn't matter. But for us, oh, we working extra hard for that 82 cents to their dollar. Let that sink in. Some bullshit in 2022. And this statistic, like all of our statistics and everything, are very recent. Like this like this is something that came out
Now, honestly,
last year.
there's something that you don't believe it, bitch. Do your Googles. You better not argue with me.
Do your Googles, because it's just crazy. And I know this is a very heavy topic for us. We've been very light, especially at the beginning of this season. But it's very important for us to dispel some of these like myths, or like people still believe that, like I said, when I had a conversation with my friend, he really understand certain aspects of it. Like he didn't understand patriarchy specifically. Yeah, he didn't.
Girl, you gonna have to tell me who this is after this call.
I mean, look, not to bad mouth my dude. I'm just saying it's crazy that like for women we had to just like look at him and be like, "Are you ready for this?" Because
So it was you and four other women or three other women.
three other women.
So I already know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, you maybe not, but either way, we were there and we did it in a manner of like, dude, what the fuck? But we also was like, you need to know this. You need to understand. And then he was like, oh, well, I get it. Like, I understand it. I just didn't know the term. Or like, they like to hold on to the statistic of black women being the most, having the most degrees and owning being the most entrepreneurs of people of color. Ooh, can't talk. So they hold on to that, like, how is that possible? So that's when we have to bring these facts in, like, that's true, but just like I said, we work hard as fuck. We
Hard as
work
fuck.
hard as fuck. And I know some men who could easily, just bullshit their way into getting a good job, or bullshit their way, especially in that, or like you said, they're not regulated. Like we have birth control. I know they have men birth control circulating now. That need to be. We need to start
I
putting them on them.
listen, y'all. It makes the most sense to
The
me
most sense.
for niggas to be on birth control.
Come on.
Like if I get pregnant, I can only get pregnant once, and I'm down for 9 months. Niggas can impregnate several women a day
Mhm.
for their entire lives.
Mhm.
But you know what? That's a different conversation for a different topic. Um, but Chris, I don't wanna y'all know I told y'all we was gonna try to keep it brief this season, not give y'all 2 3 hour episodes. So I'm gonna start wrapping it up a little bit, but I do just want to ask you, in 2022, 2021, 2020, in recent years, with the rise of social media, do you feel like activism has changed as it pertains to feminism and womanism?
That is a great question. I definitely believe so. Um, Obviously, social media, there's a lot of positives and there are hella negatives with social media. But one of the positives is we feel like a community. We can band together when we need to. And I'm glad you brought that up because as I was mentioning in the beginning, there's no wrong way to be a womanist, especially if you are in those marginalized groups. As long as you are not trying to not fight for, like if you are against someone getting equal rights or a right that we damn all deserve, like damn sure deserve, then there's no wrong way of being a womanist. So there are some people that the extent of what they can do for the movement is sign a petition. And like we just mentioned, we have the ability to get that link and post it to people who follow us, talk about it on our platform. And so that's knowledge. That's something that, a lot of people aren't aware of, especially like we briefly talked about the position, like where we came from. Not saying that we didn't know these big things, but it's easy for people to be disconnected to what's going on in the world. But a lot of social media, hell, social media, period, has made it possible for people who don't watch the news, who don't have cable, who don't have access to a newspaper or whatever other source of media, to get this information and to at least bring awareness to a topic that otherwise they wouldn't even know about. You can also donate. You can learn about different organizations, such as the one that you work for, to donate to or to support. So it's definitely, in a lot of ways, enhanced the experience of being a womanist in today's society. What about you? How do you feel?
I definitely agree with that. I will just say this as it pertains to womanism. There is to me a wrong way to do it. So what you definitely, as a womanist, you got to check your transphobia, your homophobia, your
Yeah,
biphobia, your classism, your internalized racism. You got to check all of that at the door. And if you can't, baby, you a feminist. You just like women. Let's just say that.
true.
But the biggest thing for me, the biggest, the girl, what word am I trying to say? For me, the most appealing part of womanism was that intersectionality piece. So to me, that's the only way that you can be a bad womanist or
Yeah.
doing womanism right is if you are still, transphobic, homophobic, classist, things like that. But I couldn't agree any more with what you said. I think that social media has really given rise to a new type of activist, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's really good, but I mean, like I said, it's some bad that comes along with it. But for the most part, I don't know if you all watch Grownish, but last season was really good. I'm really anticipating
Oh,
this season.
I
It
can't.
was really good. And there
Another
was
show's coming back. I'll tell you later though.
I can't wait. So, in one of the episodes last season, they had a discussion surrounding this topic actually, and it was very like in so basically one of the characters just didn't think he thought it was performative to repost post about Black Lives Matter. So this was my excuse me, I can't talk now. Mainly about Black Lives Matter. Mainly about Black Lives Matter. What the fuck? Um, but it pertains to this topic as well. Like people think it's performative. Like you're not doing nothing. You're not in the streets protesting. You're not doing X, Y, and Z. But even if we think about it, these problems exist in the streets, out the streets. It exists everywhere we go. So I respect and love the people who march. I'm a marcher too. When I respect that, but I also respect the people who wants to bring awareness, and sometimes, a lot of times, it's the little conversations that you have that really makes the most impact if you
I,
think about it.
or like a
Yeah,
conversation sparked so much.
so
Um,
much.
I said it last season. I'm not an organizer, but I know that activism is what I want to do with my life. And
Hmm.
guess what I'm getting paid for now? It's damn sure not organizing, but it is activism.
That's facts. So, like, everyone has a role, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. So, for me, I just know it could be a lot. If I was an organizer, I don't know. I just really praise those people. I give them their flowers, claps, all that. What you want, you get it. Because that's a lot to deal with, the trauma and all of that. And let's not forget though, and I hate to bring the negative into this, but I know that there are some people abusing their power in these
Absolutely.
organizations. Let's be real. We're gonna talk about it. We are transparent over here. So it's not all organizers, it's not organizers or activists, but there are some that are really out here just to be greedy and maybe started it for a good cause, but lost the sight of what they were in it for at some point along the way. So I know that too. So it could be either way. It could be a performative thing. Yes, I definitely believe that some people just repost just to be on trend and not look like a quote unquote a bad black person. Yeah, I don't know why I'm mixing up my words today, but whatever. But yeah, that's my spill on that. So, as you said, I think this is a phenomenal episode. I don't know if you actually said that, but I know you said that you don't want to go over a certain amount of time. And I agree. I feel like this was a lot. This could be mentally and emotionally draining for our listeners and viewers, considering that I feel like most of us are, Black or someone within a marginalized group. So y'all can relate in some way as to how exhausting it is to exist in a society that just constantly discriminates against you in some way or another. So we don't have to keep like badgering this. We can definitely wrap up the episode. In closing, I want to say for myself that we appreciate you all for listening and looking at our videos and supporting and reposting and doing all of that. We definitely plan on doing both lighter and more serious episodes because it all matters to us. Like, we need to talk about things like this. There may be somebody, which we said we doubt, but there could be someone who
Mhm.
comes across our page and is like, oh, well, I never really thought about it like that. But if not, I know you over here like shaking your head, like, yes, we deal with this every day. Either way, it's good to talk about it. It's good to feel like we're not alone. It's good to feel heard. As always, if y'all have any specific topic that you want to discuss, definitely let us know. And if you want to be a guest on the show, we're
Please
also
let us know, y'all.
accepting that.
So many
So
people out and we're weeding through the candidates.
we are,
Let
but
me,
we do
y'all.
have some people coming up soon.
We do have some, like she said, we do have some really good guests coming up in the first quarter for y'all. I think y'all are really gonna enjoy it. Of course, like Chris says in every episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all better be reading this book. Black Girls Must Die Exhausted. Like, it is very on key with some of the main talking points that we hit y'all with today.
Absolutely.
And if you have any questions, or if you would like any suggestions, if you're interested in finding out more about womanism itself, or if you're just interested in some Black feminist authors, or some Black feminist, womanist literature, I'd be more than happy to recommend some of my favorites. Again, if you're in the Raleigh Durham area, y'all, I'm always willing to lend out some of my literature. I'm also always willing to have a listening ear and a shoulder to cry on because I know it with fucking microaggressions, aggressions, and flat out bullshit.
I definitely feel like we should read one of your recommendations with the book club because, we have a fiction book now. Hood Feminism, I did look it up. It is a nonfiction book, so we can read that as a nonfiction book that we're doing this year. But we definitely we are balanced over here, y'all. We're not just talking about one type of thing. We want to talk about things that make you feel good and things that make you think. Okay. So once again, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you all next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.